Hello students, so today we're doing 9.8 applications and problem solving with day 1. Please excuse the echo as we continue along. So the first thing we're going to do is solve the application problems. So the Stegler Farms allows customers to pick their own blueberries. The area of the rectangular blueberry field is 4,800 yards. The length is 10 yards longer than 5 times the width. Find the dimensions of the blueberry field. So first thing we're going to do is draw a diagram. Have a cute little field here for blueberries. It says the area is 4,800 yards squared. So the length, and there's the width, the length is 10 yards longer than 5 times the width. 10 yards longer than 5 times the width. So if I have my length and width here, we know that area is really length times width. So if I plug this in, I have 4,800 is really 5w plus 10 times w. So when I multiply this out, 4,800 is equal to 5w squared plus 10w. Okay, I gotta make everything equal to 0 plus 10w minus 0, 0. Okay, so now we're gonna check. Can I take these numbers and can I divide by 5? I want to get those numbers as small as possible. It looks like I can. So if I divide every single piece by 5, there you go, just dividing by 5, 0 equals w squared plus 2w minus 960. Okay, so here we go. You have a couple choices from this point. There are some ways that we have solved before that you know how to solve. So one of them is you could use the quadratic formula. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. You could also, if instead you wanted to do something different, you could also go ahead instead and factor. So either way, you should still be able to get these answers. You'll notice at the top, if it says round to the nearest tenth or round somehow, that means that you are going to need to round, and that means you'll have a decimal. In this case, it looks like I might end up with a whole number. You still have choices. So if you want, you can set up your A is 1, your B is 2, your C is negative 960, and you can plug this in. So w equals, here we go, negative b plus or minus the square root, b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And when you plug this in, w equals, let's see, you should be able to type this whole thing in the calculator. And if you do not know how to type this whole thing in the calculator, you should show up on Zoom or to Math Lab so I can help you plug this whole thing in the calculator. Minus 4 times 1 times negative 960 all over 2. And this tells me my W is 30. And what would my other one be? I would have 30, and I would also have negative 32. Okay, so once again, we're talking about a blueberry farm. Does it make sense to have negative width for a blueberry farm? No. So it can't be negative. So if we know that our W is 30, our width is 30, then our length is really 5 times 30 plus 10. So our length is really 5 times 30 plus 10 would be 160. So the last part you need is just your final sentence. It says find the dimensions. The length is 160 yards and the width is 30 yards. And you can always check this base times height, and you can make sure that those numbers work out. So 160 times 30, let's see, 160 times 30, that does give me 4800, so that's correct. Yay, we did it! Okay, so you can use quadratic formula. The other way, instead of using quadratic formula, you can factor. So you can also factor these. If you were to factor everything, you would have different possible answers. So 4800, just make sure I did this right. 4800 divided by 5 is 960. Yep, okay, cool. So here we go. Don't mention that. That one is incorrect. I made a typo. All right, so here we go. Partner activity. A mason builds a staircase in such a way that the portion underneath the stairs forms a right triangle. So this was originally going to be for you guys to practice this, but I'm not quite sure that everyone remembers how to do triangles. So I'm going to help you with the left one, and you're going to practice the right one. So here we go. It forms a right triangle. So I'm going to go ahead and draw out my right triangle. Connect my little leggies. Okay. The hypotenuse is 6 meters. The leg across the ground is 1 meter longer than the leg next to the wall. Oops, I drew this backwards. That's okay. Find the lengths of the legs. So do you remember when we did a squared plus b squared equals c squared? This was Pythagorean theorem. We're going to have to plug back into this. So c squared over here is always our hypotenuse. So this is really your leg squared plus the other leg squared equals the hypotenuse squared. So I have x squared plus x plus 1 squared equals 6 squared. So this is 36. This is x squared plus 2x plus 1 equals 36. Move everything around so I get equals 0. 2x squared plus 2x minus 35 is equal to 0. I'm going to use quadratic formula. Oops, my a is 2. A value is 2, b value is 2, c value is negative 35. Oops, that 5 is being silly. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and combine everything. So I have a little more room here. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to plug it into that formula. So x equals negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, so this would be x is approximately equal to, and x is approximately equal to. I'm going to have two answers here. So now here we go. We're going to plug them in. Negative 2 plus second square root 2 squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 35 all over 2 times 2, that's just 4. So I got 3.71. And if I try this again, my other answer would be negative 4.71. Okay, it says round right here to the nearest tenth. So actually I got to adjust these. Nearest tenth would be 3.7 and negative 4.7. I can't have a negative because they're talking about a real staircase. You can't have a negative sidewall. So if my x is roughly 3.7, the lengths of the legs are 3.7, and it was plus 1, so the next one would be 4.7, and these are both meters, m. Ta-da, there's my question. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pause and let you do the one on the right. So here we go. If you could please go ahead and open your notes, pause the video, Right over here, you're going to do the one on the right here, rectangular swimming pool. Okay, ready, set, pause the video, go. Hey, thank you so much for pausing. Welcome back. Your answer for this problem, you should have the length of the pool is 16 yards and the width is 5 yards. Please go ahead and make sure that you have this answer. If you think for whatever reason, maybe I have a boo-boo or typo somewhere, go ahead and just shoot me an email to let me know. But length should be 16, width should be 5. Okay, we're going to move on to partner activity. You don't have a partner to work with right now because you're working remote from home. Very sorry about that. We're going to go ahead and have you try to do these still anyway. So take your best guess. Go ahead, pause the video and take your best guess. The first say determine true or false for each of those. The second one says complete the statement. So you're supposed to write down the letters, the expression. So go ahead and try those. Go ahead, pause the video right now. Okay, thank you so much for coming back. Here's my answers. The true or false, we had true, we had true, we had true, we had true, we had false, and we had false. And then for the second ones, you had W plus 3, you had 4W, you had L minus 8, and 2L minus 10. Please go ahead and make sure you have those. Next up, we have a cute little brain break. So go ahead, pause the video. You're going to do the brain break. Enjoy the puzzle. Enjoy the maze. Go for it. Go. Hey, I hope you were able to get past that brain break. The red arrow went to the red star. That's not always the case. Sometimes they go to a different color. But in this case, they happen to go all the way. There's my cute wiggle. This was kind of fun to do. I lined up my pen exactly. We have a couple more partner activities to practice. These are the two more. This one is a rectangle, right? Find the length and width. And the right side is a right triangle, which is similar to our example that we did. So rectangle and right triangle. Go ahead, pause the video and try these right now. Hey, thanks for coming back. I'm going to reveal these answers. So you should have on the left, the length is 10 feet, the width is 7 feet. And on the right, you should have the length of the two legs are 4.6 meters and 6.6 meters. Go ahead and check these answers. And once again, if you think there's any type of mistakes, just let me know. These should be okay. And if you can factor it, you are welcome to factor it. If it's too hard to factor, please use quadratic formula. Remember, whenever you're writing your own variables, you can use X and Y if you want. Length and width, you can use L and W. Okay, that was it for our lesson purposes. I don't want to scroll too far because my answers are on here, but don't go too far. You are going to have some of these problems, so you're going to go ahead and do the next set of slides. I think this whole thing should be able to be completed within the class time, but I could see some students maybe needing a couple extra minutes to draw the diagram. So ideally, these slides should be done by 3 p.m. So I should be able to log on and see that everyone is done with their slides by 3 p.m. And I will know if you watched the video or not because you will have your slides done by 3 p.m. And if you cannot get your slides done by 3 p.m. and you watch this video, I need you to send me an email telling me I cannot finish the slides by 3 p.m. because blah, 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 blah. Otherwise, for everyone else, these completed slides, including the homework, should be due by 3 p.m. All right. If you have any questions, please find me on Zoom. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day. Please stay safe, right? Make good choices. Wear a mask if possible. Wash your hands. I hope I will see you all in person on Monday. Okay. Bye-bye. Nazario out.